This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, Central Otago's Highlands are almost ready for the arrival of the Highlanders rugby team for a pre-season match against the Crusaders. 4 Southern firefighters have returned home after 14 days of the hardest job they've ever had in Australia. And a university field trip to Brighton has prepared a group of secondary school teachers for making geology rock in the classroom. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Daryl Baser. The Highlands of Central Otago are almost ready for the arrival of the Highlanders rugby team for their pre-season match against the Crusaders on Friday. Heavy rain before Christmas and continued irrigation since means the Wanaka Rugby Club pitch is fit for a clash between the two Super Rugby teams.
Groundsman Chris Rook's attention to detail has elevated this rugby field in Wanaka to top condition.
So we just got a dry patch in the pitch over here, so we've just been putting a bit of extra water on it and keeping the sun off it to just make sure it's nice and soft for the game on Friday.
And Wanaka Rugby Club Vice President Nathan Simon agrees the carefully irrigated pitch is at its best.
The ground's in absolutely fine form, eh? We had a wee bit of weed about a year ago. The groundskeeper Chris, it's almost as good as Forsyth Bar, to be fair. Except ours is real.
This Friday the club will host a pre-season match between Otago's Highlanders and their Canterbury rivals, the Crusaders. They're expecting 6,500 people, the 1,500 corporate seats having sold out before Christmas, and only 600 general admission tickets left.
They've sort of been selling at 200-300 a day, so I'd say jump on them now.
The sides are playing for the Farmlands Cup, and while the result does not matter in respect of the Super Rugby competition, Simon says there's a lot of interest in who will win.
Obviously the Highlanders are in a rebuilding year, aren't they? So the Crusaders put on a good show last week against the Chiefs, so it should be on for young and old down here, but if it's anything like today we could be looking 30 degrees, so we'll see how the water boys keep up to them.
Over 700 metres of fencing is already being set up, and food stalls and entertainment are set to create a family atmosphere, and Simon recommends people turn up early to get a good vantage point.
We're corralling the whole ground and some upper Clutha transport trucks, so curtain sliders, flat decks and all that sort of stuff, so there's going to be lots of elevation points, but 6,500 people, we had 3,500 here for the Ranford Shield game last year, so I would be saying get down here early, find a good spot, and it's about the event as much as it is the game of rugby for this town, so it'd be great.
The game is set to kick off at 6 p.m. this Friday. In Wanaka, the South Today.
A man has been charged with careless driving causing injury following a bus crash in which a girl and a woman lost limbs. Emergency services arrived at the crash yesterday afternoon on the Glenorchy Queenstown Road southwest of Queenstown. A tourist bus had rolled onto its side, and the Otago Daily Times understands a girl and a woman both lost hands in the crash. Otago Lakes Area Commander Inspector Olaf Jensen says a 32-year-old man has been charged with careless driving causing injury following the crash. Those on board, including the bus driver, are all Chinese nationals. A man is expected to appear in the Queenstown District Court Monday, January 27th. 4 Southern firefighters have returned home after 14 days of the hardest job they'd ever had. The group were among 21 firefighting volunteers deployed to Australia by Fire and Emergency New Zealand.
Southland firefighter Nigel Milne working hard creating a fire break in Australia recently. 4 of the 21 firefighters who volunteered to help fight the recent Australian bushfires are glad to be back home after long and hard days of digging fire breaks across the forest.
It was a great experience. It was one of the harder deployments we've been on probably. A lot of hand tool work. The boys really did really well with that.
Over the 2 weeks away, the group were completely focused on their mission.
It gets very tiring. You're shattered by the time you get home. But the long hours and the heat, they take their toll after a while.
Keenan says they were impressed by the support of the local communities they'd flown over to help.
How the community pulls together is always, it's amazing. How they back up their fireys and help them any way they can.
It's thought the fires will continue to burn for another few months at least. In Invercargill, the South Today.
The mystery of the $17 million lotto winner is over. The massive prize has been claimed. After 3 weeks of national intrigue, the winner has now come forward to collect their $17.1 million earnings. The country's newest millionaire deliberately waited several days to claim the prize, saying they needed time to process the idea that they were now a multi-millionaire. The winner says they checked and rechecked the ticket multiple times before being convinced they'd won. The ticket was sold at the market store in Twizel for the December 28th draw. A University of Otago field trip to Brighton yesterday armed a group of secondary school teachers with techniques for teaching geology in the classroom. The trip is part of the university's annual Advanced School Sciences Academy, which engages senior secondary school pupils and their teachers in a week of science-based learning.
A group of secondary school teachers learn a few techniques for teaching earth science yesterday at Brighton Beach, south of Dunedin. University of Otago Geology Department teaching fellow Dr. Sophie Briggs says Brighton Beach has several interesting geological features.
This is a really good place to see one of the oldest rocks that we can see in New Zealand, the Haast Schist. And we can also see here a paleo beach that was deposited in the last interglacial period, so the one before the one that we're in now. And we can see loess deposits that represent the last glacial maximum.
Dr. Briggs says the area is also a great place to view evidence of the Akatori fault line, which could generate a magnitude 7 earthquake, seriously impacting Dunedin.
During the last 2 earthquakes that happened on this fault in the last 1300 years or so, they experienced about 2 metres of slip in an earthquake, and that actually offset the marine terrace that seaweed was growing on.
The fault is interesting not only from a geological perspective, but also a biological one.
The geneticists were able to show that the kelp or the seaweed growing on the uplifted side of the fault was genetically distinct to that growing on the other side of the fault. So there's a biological fingerprint of earthquake movement happening on this fault in the past, which I think is really cool, and it just shows how biology and geology can work together to solve interesting problems.
The University of Otago Academy has been running since 2011 and aims to support science education in rural and provincial areas. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today, the mystery around a water leak in Alexandra continues, and we meet a man who's created an urban orchard in central Dunedin. See you after the break.
Every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell menswear, it fits.
When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489 2274.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Larnach Castle is proud to showcase their new retail space. Simply purchase an annual garden pass for year-round access to the garden, cafe and gift shop, or apply for a host card giving you full access to the castle, ballroom, cafe, gift shop and garden when accompanied by a full paying guest. Check out the website for full terms and conditions.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
If you're suffering from sciatica, lower back pain, hips and pelvis and knees, this technique will work wonders for you. The energy flow is transmitting through the muscles. Come and see Sunny Chin.
No mai no, welcome back. Mystery surrounds the source of a water leak coming from an area of the Roxburgh Gorge at a rate of 4 litres per minute. The water is running down the bank above the track off the Old Bridge Road in Alexandra. Central Otago Clutha Rail's co-director Barry Willis says the water has been running above and alongside the track since last July, and it's not known exactly where the water is coming from. The Central Otago District Council arranged contractors to check the pipes on Old Bridge Road and O'Neill Crescent for leaks. Council Infrastructure Services Executive Julian Muir says 3 water leaks on council water pipes were discovered and repaired in July, and a private property owner was also advised of a leak on their property. Preliminary findings point towards groundwater in the area, possibly from a spring. Old Bridge Road resident Russell Budd estimates there are about 4 houses on the bank which could be compromised if the problem isn't dealt with. The last place you'd expected to find an orchard is in the backyard of a Dunedin property in the middle of the city's student quarter. But that's exactly what Rory Harding has created at his George Street home.
The last place you might expect to find an orchard is in the backyard of a Dunedin home, right smack bang in the middle of the city's student quarter. But that's exactly what Rory Harding has created at his George Street home.
Well, it started when I decided to move in about 11 years ago, and I wanted to do something about learning how to grow my own food, and started collecting fruit, and yeah, just steamrolled from there.
A passion for gardening has helped Harding cover the 500 square metre property with about 300 square metres of edible plants, growing heirloom apples, feijoas, kiwi fruit and plums, and all of it organic.
There was a big lawn down the middle and a small veggie garden down the back, contained by those 60s style concrete paths, and an ornamental border down that side, and a cluster of random trees over here.
A rainwater collection system means even during the most dry periods, the orchard receives more than enough water. Concrete walls and fences around the neighbouring properties shield the orchard from the bitter southerly winds, creating a nano-climate.
Staying adaptable, I think, is important, like not taking anything for granted, keeping tabs on it and making sure it's working for what we need, which is getting fed and doing it biologically.
As well as giving away any unused food him and his family can't eat or preserve, Harding hosts workshops and tours of the orchard, teaching others how to grow edible plants. In Dunedin, the South Today.
And after the break on the South Today, we check in with the latest news about Dunedin's harbour developments and have a look at your midweek weather. See you after the break.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Step into Shop on Carroll and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
Larnach Castle is proud to showcase their new retail space. Simply purchase an annual garden pass for year-round access to the garden, cafe and gift shop, or apply for a host card giving you full access to the castle, ballroom, cafe, gift shop and garden when accompanied by a full paying guest. Check out the website for full terms and conditions. Say goodbye to your pet. Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489-2274.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. We have new items arriving every day. Visit us for a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
Thanks for staying with us. A new study has found the development of Dunedin's waterfront could deliver a major economic boost for the city, creating hundreds of new jobs and boosting tourist spending by nearly $40 million a year. This assessment is from Dunedin's bid for money from the Provincial Growth Fund. Last year, the fund awarded the city almost $20 million for the first stage of development. According to the study, once the project is finished, it could generate close on 2,000 long-term jobs. The development could also deliver a 5% boost to the number of tourists coming to Dunedin, adding an extra $38 million to the city. Signs of progress, including consents being issued and possibly even early construction, are expected late this year. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. Central Otago's Highlands are almost ready for the arrival of the Highlanders rugby team for a pre-season match against the Crusaders. 4 Southern firefighters have returned home after 14 days of the hardest job they've ever had, fighting bushfires in Australia. And a University of Otago field trip to Brighton has prepared a group of secondary school teachers for making geology rock in their classrooms. Now time for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's Otago Daily Times. Welcome the editor, Mr. Barry Stewart.
Hello Daryl. We have more details on a proposed new cycle trail between Oamaru and Dunedin. So not everybody has been contacted about that, so as far as the route goes, so it's a wee bit loose at the moment, but the intention and the desire is there, so plans are well underway. And further on the waterfront, so establishing a new waterfront development agency in Dunedin could cost up to $3 million a year, that recently released report revealed. So there's ongoing payments involved in that. Queenstown helicopter companies have rallied to help victims from that horror bus crash in Queenstown yesterday. We also have a story about a Mosgiel woman who says her heart is broken after losing her son's ashes while moving house. The ashes were in an urn and they have disappeared. So the hunt is on to retrieve those. Recent pruning of some of Tapanui's civic trees has been criticised as brutal and atrocious by a community organisation. So trouble in Tapanui. First home buyers, we know how hard that is, hoping to get into the Dunedin market. So they're facing an uphill battle as prices spiral and rental prices rise as well. So it's tough on both sides of that market, whether you're buying or renting. Brent Melville, our business reporter, visited an open home and talked to a couple of first home hopefuls. Interesting revelations there. We have a fair bit of sport in the paper tomorrow. Highlanders team for their warm-up match will be named. Adi Savir is going to continue to wear his goggles to protect his eyes in the game, and the Indian team's on its way, and lots of cricket and tennis action as well. So,
brilliant. All that and more in tomorrow's ADT.
Indeed, thank you.
Thank you, Barry. Appreciate that. Time now for a look at tomorrow's weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Beginning with the southern view, a collection of penguins keeping cool on a warm Otago's day at Dunedin's Penguin Place. Looking at the situation, some warm days are on the way as a northwesterly airflow spreads over southern districts in the next few days. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, Greymouth and Westport are looking a bit cloudy with 22-degree highs. Heading across to the northeast, not a cloud in the sky for you, so sunscreen will be a must. Nelson and Blenheim, you can both expect 29 degrees. Moving down to Canterbury, a cloud or two across this area as well. Kaikoura and Christchurch head for 23, while it should reach 21 degrees in Ashburton. Heading for the southern towns, the Catalans, Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore can all expect moderate northwesterlies, fine weather and 18 degrees. Heading to central Otago, Wanaka, Alexandra and Queenstown are set for light winds and high cloud. Wanaka and Queenstown should reach 23, while Alexandra should make it to one better on 24. Te Anau, you're set for moderate northwesterlies, cloud and 17 degrees. to the northern towns. And for those on the coast, Timaru and Oamaru should plan for light winds, some cloud and 18 degrees. Inland, Twizel and Omarama are due for light winds, clear skies and 24 degrees. In Dunedin, cloudy tonight with an overnight low of 13 degrees. A period of cloud or light showers tomorrow morning with cooler southwesterlies, but it's due to become fine and sunny during the afternoon. A high of 17 and a low of 13. Warmer on Friday with breezy northeasterlies, sunny periods and high cloud, with a high of 21 and a low of 14 degrees. And in Invercargill, becoming fine tonight with an overnight low of 13 degrees, mostly fine tomorrow with sunny periods and some cloud at times. Moderate westerly winds, a high of 18 and a low of 14. Cloud increasing and rain developing late on Friday with freshening northwesterlies, a high of 20 and a low of 14. And that's all from the South Today team for this Wednesday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Have a great evening. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.